And we are live. Hello, guys, and welcome to Jason Hebert Live. We have another missing persons interview for you today. Today, we have the brother and sister of a woman from Longview, Texas, named Lydia Flores, who had went to Shreveport, Louisiana, which is where she went missing from. There have been some reports that she may have made her way back. We're not 100% sure just where she might be, but tonight we have Billy and Liza, the brother and sister of Lydia, on to kind of tell her story. We're going to show you guys some pictures, and if anybody out there knows anything, we will be giving all the correct contact information for both the authorities as well as Billy, Liza, myself. Anywhere that you need to get information to, we will give you the correct people to send it to. So we have them coming forward today, in the hopes that someone knows something and comes forward. But only about 20 people there. Let's give a few minutes for everyone to start filtering in as notifications go up. So let's first introduce our lovely co-host. Many of you know her already. Oh, we're up to 40. Hi, Chris.
Guys. Hi, my name's Crystal. I study psychology, and I'm very interested in unsolved cases and missing persons cases. So I hope I can provide some insight into tonight's case. So thank you for having me.
She's going to bring that psychological mind to the equation.
Hope.
So, all right, guys, there isn't a ton. If anyone, a lot of you guys follow me on Facebook, so you know that I post them beforehand, and some of you guys look into the cases beforehand before we even do it. So any of you who did probably know that there wasn't a ton out there so far, which is exactly the kind of shows I like to do, the ones where people aren't getting a ton of exposure versus the ones where there's already 50 shows on them and everyone knows everything. I tried to really help the families that really need it. So as you guys can see in the chat, this is an interactive show. So if you are into trying to help these families, you can ask your questions live as long as they're respectful and they have good intentions. We invite you to ask anything, particularly tonight. Some guests don't want to talk about certain things, but tonight's guests are pretty open to answer any questions as long as you ask it in a respectful and productive way. So please click subscribe below, set the notification bell to all if you are interested in trying to help these families, because they desperately need people helping search and all kinds of things. There's a million ways to help. Just you guys being here and asking questions shows them that people care and people want to try to help find them. So you guys are the ones that make the difference. So if you're into helping, please click subscribe and set the notification bell to all. You will be notified every time we upload a new video. So I'm going to bring on Billy and Liza, the brother and sister of Lydia, and they're going to tell you guys kind of some of the basics of the story and allow you to ask some questions, and we'll start from there because they can obviously tell the story a lot better than I can. So first we'll introduce Billy. How's it going, my man?
It's going, sir. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for coming on. And obviously, I'm so sorry, man. I can't imagine, what you're going through. I have a lot of hope for this one because of the possible sighting. So I'm praying that's just she's trying to hide out, going through some things, and we get a positive resolution.
Yes, sir. We appreciate that, as we are.
Of course. Absolutely. And also, Liza, how are you doing?
Good.
So, as I said, Billy is Lydia's brother. Liza is her sister. So, and I don't know, we might have some family in the chat as well. So everyone's saying hello. Hi, guys. Hi to everybody. Elizabeth, Yvette, Casey, Stephanie, Shiva, Luis, Dave, Anita, Yvette, Jake. Oh, hey, Jake. What's up, man? How you been? But yeah, guys. So we're getting close to about 60 people. So give it a few more seconds for people to filter in here. But do you guys want to get started? I don't know. Whoever would like to start, Liza or Billy, if you, whichever one of you would like to start by just maybe tell us a little bit about her and then lead us into the days and weeks that lead into her disappearance. Whichever one of you would like to go.
I think Liza was probably closer to her as a sister, knows more about her. If she wants to start by telling you about her, and then I can kind of explain the situation and how it arose or occurred, if you want to, Liza.
Okay. Hi, everybody. So Lydia is my little sister. She has had a big issue with drugs for the longest, since she's a teenager. So she's always, had this thing where she can always have a baby, but then she can't really take care of the child. Right now, her oldest daughter lives with me with her daughter. My mom raised her most of the time, and then she's like a no of 6 other children.
Wow.
But she does love God. She just makes really bad decisions, and the drugs I feel like have taken over her every time she has decided to go back that route. I don't know if like alcohol led to that, because it seems like when she would get her life right, all of a sudden, like she'll be changing completely. And so that just seems like she probably shouldn't drink alcohol at all. And then, because I think that's what leads to it. That's just my guess. But for the most part, she's a really good person. Like, she has a great heart. She just makes really bad choices with men. And I guess, I mean, just like my brother was saying earlier, like, you know, I mean, I don't know what she does for work and how she provides for herself. So I always think the worst. I mean, there's been times that I've actually helped get her place packed up whenever, or, you know, finding her in jail. She'll be in jail. She's reported herself with a different name before, so she's gotten in trouble plenty of times for giving false information.
Was it just like a fake name or someone else's name kind of thing?
I think that I mean, to my understanding, she's given a false name just so maybe she has warrants out at times. Like now, she has a warrant out. So I know there was one time when she had a warrant out, and then she had some other things. I mean, they were just drug related. I don't think I've ever seen her get in trouble for like any theft or anything like that. But she's just it's all like drug related. But I mean, like right now, just, you know, the whole thing with her being out and stuff, like we don't even know where she is. We think that if she is still alive, she's just out on the streets. And
exactly.
Yeah.
And I was going to comment too that those photos you were showing of her, that's what she typically looks like. And I don't know if y'all seen that one that she was real sucked up in her face. I've never seen her like that personally. I'm guessing that's when she's, you know, that one right there. I'm guessing that's what
this one.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm guessing. You know, if I had to guess, that's probably what the streets have done to her. She's that you know, that strung out. She is a beautiful person. She got a beautiful soul, soft, kind-hearted. She's good people. It's the drugs have turned her into something that, you know, she's let consume her. It's been so long since I've even seen her. I think the last time I tried to help her, Liza, I don't know if you remember, but 5, 6, 8 years ago, I let her come stay with me to try to help her clean up. But she was here like 2-3 days. And ran off with the guy in the middle of the night out of my house. She had him come pick her up from the Metroplex. I'm out here in Granbury, Texas. So he drove quite a ways, 2-3 o'clock in the morning, to scoop her up. And that right there was the last time I seen her. And I know that my mom has made phone contact with her multiple times. Every time she's in and out of jail, pregnant, giving a kid up for adoption, having an abortion, this kind of thing. It's been hard on the whole family, but this thing, it's hit my mom really hard. Just to kind of give you a scoop of a rundown on how the missing thing came to be. Obviously, we haven't all been in contact with her, so to speak. So it's like, how long has she been missing? Well, I think my mom had spoke to her a month ago or so, perhaps, over the phone, in regards to a pregnancy that she was. Sean Spillman, the guy that she was dating, is now incarcerated in Gregg County Jail, which is in Longview.
Let me jump in real quick, Billy, just to be on the to protect all of us. So anything mentioned about anyone in the show, guys, whether it's by myself, Crystal, Liza, Billy, there are no hard accusations made. These are just people that don't really know exactly what's going on, trying to piece things together to find their loved ones. So everything's alleged. And we're making no hard accusations. I just have to say that.
No, and I agree. Like I said, I this is what I've been told. Nothing firsthand.
Right.
I was called by my office manager a week or so ago. Said, "Hey, get to the office quick. Your mom's panicking." Someone called and said your sister's been murdered. So I get to the office. My mom's in frantic. I get on the phone. She is on the phone with a bail bondsman out of Longview, who said that he had spoke to Sean, who's incarcerated, and he had mentioned to him that my sister had been murdered, found in the Red River in Louisiana, Shreveport, and he had to have her cremated. So at that time, the bondsman started asking questions. And reached out and called my mom and kind of threw that at her. And I mean, it hit her hard. So at that time, I started making calls to detectives. Wasn't really getting nowhere, so to speak. In fact, the detective I first talked to, or my mom spoke to, seemed like he wasn't that interested. Well, I hired a PI. Dropped a little bit of money on a private investigator, and then next thing you know, we started getting phone calls from higher up investigators willing to make some calls and such. And not to say nothing about the PD, no disrespect there, or the sheriff's department. Anyway, so that's what happened. By the time the investigator had called or went down and talked to Mr. Spillman in person, he had changed his story to no, that was just what we were telling people to leave us alone on the streets. So maybe we can start a new life, so on and so forth. He then told the detectives that they had went to Shreveport on some drug deals or something of that sort or nature. And at that time, he had got jumped by 3 guys, hospitalized, and this was during the corona, so she wasn't able to go in. When he got out, he took a bus back to Longview, hasn't seen her since. He put in a missing person report or filed one perhaps at Shreveport, Louisiana. And they did find a missing persons on her after they had realized that he put it as his last name, Spillman, instead of her real last name, which is Flores. So now I'm talking to Detective Gaddy in Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm talking to Detective Heath in Longview. I'm talking to my detective, my private investigator, all of which says this story doesn't add up. And at the same time here, it's kind of throwing us for a loop because this guy's cousin, who's incarcerated, which is her current boyfriend or was perhaps, is telling us things that kind of add up to the same thing as what he's saying here. The accusations are true because that's what he told him. It's a lot of hearsay at this point. Nobody's going to put their eyes on her to see if she's alive. One thing we do know for sure is that she was not found in Red River. The detective said that none of
We can't hear you all of a sudden, Billy. Oh, now I can hear you again. Sorry.
Okay, my apologies. Anyways, someone's trying to call me during this thing. So that's kind of where we're at. I went down this weekend, like I was saying, passed out a whole bunch of flyers. Y'all got a picture of our flyer there. I would just, at this point, I would be happy for her to pick up the phone and call us. If someone's seen her, put hands on her, pick up the phone, call us, say, hey, this is, your family just wants to hear from you. I know she's probably scared because she's got a warrant. Even Detective Heath told me this morning, man, we don't even care about that. He goes, we're worried about this.
Right.
Whatever the charges are probably petty anyways. I'm not trying to be wrong. Drug charges are drug charges, but I'm just saying, I just want to hear that she's alive. My mom wants to hear she's alive. My sister, my whole family. It's a big deal. This has opened my eyes to all the families out there. I never had no idea that so many people just went missing like this. It's
something like 600,000 a year or something. When I started doing the show, I was like, I'll do it weekly, and I hope I can find someone every week. And I do it almost every night. People just keep coming. I'm like, oh my God, same thing. Insane. I didn't think
it's insane. Half these people I'm bringing these flyers to, and I'm not saying half, a quarter of them, we had a family member, we had a friend go missing, still hasn't been found. And I'm thinking, how do people just end up missing? How are they not found? But we're experiencing it right now ourselves. It's like, is she alive? Is she just out there on the streets, homeless, running the streets, doing what she can to survive? Or did someone really hurt my sister? Is she deceased? We don't know, and that's what we want to know. And that's what I'm all for y'all helping reach out to everybody we can. So, if anyone's got any idea about her, she got, like I said, tattoo of barbed wire on her bicep, solid black Playboy bunny on her ankle. When she's cleaned up and off the streets and off drugs, she is a very, very beautiful girl. She's a good person.
A lot of comments saying that how beautiful she is, and Liza as well. Saying beautiful sister. Chris, can I just say one thing, and then I'm gonna let you get a couple questions in. I'm sorry, I still want to fall too behind in the chat, but I saw you itching to jump in, so I'll let you get. Just real quick, So there's a group I work with called Be United. Their links are below in the description, guys. Check them out. Be United Missing Persons. They're awesome. I'm sure they'll contact you. They help with all my cases. They've made flyers and stuff. But Dave Wilson, who is from the group, I guess he's originally from Shreveport. They don't live there now, but he says to let you know there is a shelter on Texas Ave and another on College Ave. So maybe check those out. I don't know if you have already, but
yeah, no, we're definitely definitely checking shelters and all.
okay.
Okay.
Chris.
My question was, so Lydia is from Longview, Texas, but she moved to Shreveport, Louisiana.
She is not from Longview. She's from this region over here, the Metroplex, but she ended up in Longview. And I don't know that story. I don't know if Liza does, but with some guy. And
where was she reported missing initially?
She was reported missing in Shreveport by Sean Spillman. And that's what's got even the detectives puzzled, because apparently they went up there, left Longview, drove to Shreveport, were doing drugs or making drug deals. I've heard it on the streets that he actually sold her for drugs, and then ended up hospitalized mentally. And the detectives even confirmed that he did have a mental case thing in the Shreveport area. And that's what I've been told multiple times, that he had sold her for drugs and she was being held captive. So that's where he went in and put the missing person on her, was Shreveport. So by the time they found out there was a missing person on her there, they weren't able to do another missing person on her in Longview. That's why we've got the missing person number as we do for Shreveport.
Okay. And when was she last seen? Because I've seen some some information on Facebook. It says that she was missing, last seen since October 11th, but then she was reported missing until the 19th.
And that's kind of the thing with us too. And that's been the deal. It's like, what day did she actually become missing? I don't know the last time I seen her, so it's kind of hard for me to say when she become missing. What we're going off of, those dates, as far as I know, are from the bail bondsman that bonded her out last. That's the last time I believe he's seen her. And which one of those dates it is, I'm not sure.
Bail bond saw him on August the 28th. So yeah, the day she was released is the last day that the bail bond seen him or seen her. And I believe, from what I understand, is the bail bond gave her and Sean a ride to their place, I guess maybe the motel. And so that was the last time that we know that more people have seen her besides just Sean. And then Sean said that he filed the report on the 19th of October of her missing in Shreveport, but he says that she was missing since October 11th.
Yeah, and I don't believe anything Sean has to say. I mean, like I said, he sent us text messages, live death threats to my mother, talking about burning her house down with her in it. Told me he's going to come down here and kill me with his gang of boys and all kinds of other stuff. I mean, it got really heated over the phone, all over us, just trying to talk to my sister to see if she was okay. You could hear her in the background. And this ordeal happened a month or so ago. So I know a month ago she was alive, because I could hear her voice back there trying to talk. And it was one of those deals. Like, I mean, he went on for days of threatening to kill my mom, threatening to come out.
What was the context of that? What was the context of why he called you on the phone?
Okay, so that whole deal, like I said, like Liza mentioned, she's got kids, multiple kids.
Yeah.
She had ended up pregnant and incarcerated, and instead of trying to abort the baby, my mother was more so on the side of trying to adopt it, find it a home, or she a home, I'm sorry. Because so as it is right now, all the brothers and sisters, the siblings, are where they can communicate one day, or it was one of those deals. My mom's got a heavy heart, big heart. She wanted to help find the baby a home versus my sister having an abortion. And that's when Sean had told her, look, this is our life. You stay out of it. We're going to do what we're going to do. You know, maybe it was the drugs talking. I don't know, but that was the context of that whole ordeal. I mean, that's how that thing come to be, is by my mom reaching out to her, trying to discuss her options, trying to help her, and maybe even more so trying to get her off the streets and out of his clutches. You know, who's to say?
And we still don't know what happened to that last pregnancy. Like, to my understanding,
Yes,
like we know for sure she's had 6. The last one that before this last pregnancy, is in foster care. And then this last one, we really don't even know if she even had the baby or not, because I know the time before she relapsed and went into labor. So, you know, actually both the last 2 that we know of, that like one's already been adopted and the other one is in foster care. She relapsed on both of those. And so they're somewhere right now. But we don't know what happened to this last pregnancy, that she was just pregnant just a few months ago.
Okay.
I don't know anything about, you know, if she knows anybody in Louisiana or Shreveport. To my knowledge, I didn't even know she knew where Longview was. I mean, I know where East Texas is, but I don't know how she ended up there. We don't know at this point who she knows and who she doesn't. So
before that, she was staying in Marshall. So the baby before the 6th child, the baby's father is there in Marshall. So she's been in that area for some reason. I don't know.
I know that when we were on the streets looking for handing out flyers, I ran into an older gentleman named Taboo. And apparently Taboo and Sean Spillman were friends, and apparently they lived in the same apartment complex over in Longview. Taboo was very nice, very, you know, and he had mentioned to me that he had got the same story from Sean as we had heard, about her being murdered. And when I told him, no, that's not the story we're getting now, he was kind of shocked. He was there with his girlfriend walking down the street, and we accidentally walked up on him handing flyers. He's like, I know her. Started describing her, and I'm like, oh, tell them to come here. And they come to my truck, and I'm like, what do you know? And he started telling me, hey, my name's Taboo. My mom had mentioned that her downstairs or upstairs neighbor was a gentleman named Taboo. And he said, man, I'm going to go look for her right now. And then while we were discussing it with him, another gentleman come up and said, oh, I just seen her last night. Well, you know, whether these stories are true, the actual, you know, spotting her, seeing her, maybe it was someone else, maybe it was her, hopefully it was her. But if that helps anybody from the Longview area, a guy named Taboo, apparently that he knows her well. He said that, you know, they kind of collaborated the same story, but who's to say? I'm hearing conflicting stories, if you will. One, and then two or three other motels told us the same thing. Oh, well, I know, you know, we know this guy and he's told us this. Well, then 2 or 3 other motels told us, no, well, she was just here not long ago. So until someone puts their eyes on her, we're expecting, you know, could be great, could be bad, you know, or not great. I mean, it could be okay and it could be really, really bad. If this guy Sean, it's just weird why he started making up these stories. Now, if I had to guess, if she is alive, and I'm praying she is, if I had to guess, I would be saying that he made these accusations up and these stories up probably because they owed said bail bondsman money and was trying to get out of paying it, trying to get a free ride, trying to get out of jail. Even the bondsman thinks so. Perhaps the detectives do. I don't know.
But Joe said that she uses different names or aliases.
I don't know anything about it.
I think whenever the cops come around and she's like,
oh, that's a common thing. A lot of criminals.
She's done this for a long time, where she just makes up a name.
Of course, criminals do it every day. Yeah,
right.
You
know. But then her boyfriend reported her when she reported her missing. When he reported her missing,
he used his last name.
He used her first name and his last name.
Exactly.
That was weird.
Exactly.
Why did
they're never married? They're never married, and that's what I'm saying. Why did he do that? Was he really looking for her? Because if he was, you would think that he would use her real last name, because she no paper trail by last name of that Spillman. And then to top that off, in my opinion, it kind of like it was, and that's what's scary about the deal. Until I put my eyes on her and see that she's alive, that seems like a cover up of something to me. The detectives say the same. The private investigators. They're all pretty shook about it. And in fact, I don't know how true this is, But one of the first places I stopped at when I was in Longview was right off the highway, a big convenience store that had multiple like places, kind of like a Buc-ee's, but one of those deals. The gentleman behind the counter told me that this was on this flyer was on the news 2 days ago, and he's seen it across his lotto machine or something. So I've looked into this, and I have no trace of this, but apparently that they had already placed it on the news. They're concerned about his accusations. I mean, he's even told officers, detectives, one story that she's dead and been murdered in Red River, found, and that he cremated her. And then the next thing you know, he's telling them, "Oh, well, no, I had to file a missing person report because she took off or she's gone." Or, I mean, why would he even use that last name? That's strange to me. So.
Really odd that he would do that, but a lot of what he's doing seems to be odd. So if you're listening, Sean, some clarification would definitely help as to why you're saying what you're saying. We have some questions on him. I could kind of lead it because I don't want to fall too behind in the chat. I want to try to get as many questions in as possible, so I'll kind of lead it into something I was going to ask. But missing puzzle pieces, how has Sean been looked into? Can you kind of explain how much they've talked to him? And that kind of, I was going to ask, do you want to go into some of the specifics of sightings that have happened recently? So in case anyone I think you've touched on them a little, but can you go into exactly where they were, when they were?
Sean, like I said, when my mom first called the detective before I got too far into it, I was kind of busy that day with work. She had reached out to a Longview detective. That detective said he would see what he could do, this, that, and the other, but he couldn't go to talking to Sean and asking him this, that, and the other because of the laws and crossing boundaries. Well, then when I hired the private investigator, the chain of command started. The lieutenant called me and said, "Hey, look, we're going to go talk to Sean and we're going to find out what he has to say." That's about as far as he's been looked into, because as of right now, technically they say no crime has been committed. If a body turned up or something like that, Lord forbid that be the case, but then maybe they, by the time I have, they haven't looked into him very much at all. Just to answer your question. As far as my sightings go and the details of that, a Motel 6 off the Interstate 20 in Longview said that she was kicked out of there. And this was yesterday when I was up there. 2 days ago with 4 other people. One of which, and is it okay if I throw names out here or street names, or is that not what you'd recommend me to do, or is that okay with you?
You can. You said the street names and stuff of the businesses.
Yes, I mean businesses, persons. I mean,
you can really say anything. I say that thing in the beginning that we're not accusing anyone of anything, and if we do mention any businesses and stuff, guys, please don't call them and blow them up. We don't want to cause too much trouble for anyone. But yeah, you can. The more details, the better for the most part.
Yes,
whatever you'd like to mention.
So I was told that she was running around with the African American male named T. Terrence. They call him T. As well as a white guy that's tatted up, street hustlers, drug dealers, from that location, Motel 6. The clerk and the manager both confirmed these things. Okay. We went across the highway to McDonald's. Actually, we were over there at the motel handing out flyers there. Went into McDonald's to get something to eat real quick. They come running out. By the people who are with me, the people at McDonald's recognized her right away. Said she was in there Friday prior, getting a meal bought from some construction worker guy that come through and was helping her out. Apparently that she's been up and down the streets over there. They say they've got video surveillance of her. I actually reached out to Detective Heath today of Longview. He's supposed to be trying to request that surveillance, the camera, and see her on that.
Let me jump in real quick. I'm sorry, I still want to forget this. We have a guy, I know he's in the chat, or at least he was earlier, One Up. So if you're listening, brother, I don't want to put his real name out there because I don't know if he wants it, but he is really good at accessing cameras. Like if he finds out where a camera is, he can pull it pretty much anywhere, legally, of course. I'm not saying anything bad. But so if we find a camera that, and I know the police, you said, are kind of looking into it, so we'll leave that to them. But on the back end, if you do know a camera where you think we can maybe pull some info for, I have a guy that's, he just said I'm here. So we might be able to help with this. So remind me of that. So I have a bad memory. So if I let you go on, I would have forgot to say that. So, okay, keep going.
No, awesome. Yeah, and then so the next place we went to was Easy Mart up the road. Like I said, flyer after flyer. These girls in there right out the gate. Oh, yeah, she was here yesterday. And I'm like, are y'all sure? And she goes, trust me, she was here. She was so messed up that I almost called the police on her. She was so high, she couldn't think, couldn't walk, couldn't talk. And I asked her, I said, beyond a doubt. She says, no, beyond a doubt, she was here. She showed me where she trafficked. Everybody up and down that highway has said they've seen her at some point or another. Yet we, I've handed these flyers out with the detective's number on it, my personal card, my personal cell, my business card. We're trying to reach her. So, and one of the last things I heard, and I mean, I just got to say this. One of the last things I heard was a gentleman tell me that he's seen her at a store and she was hungry and had nowhere to sleep. And I mean, it just kills me. If she'll accept our help, and that's been a thing. Let me back up a second. I'm sure people got to wonder, well, why are y'all so concerned now? Why aren't y'all been concerned this whole time? I've got a son doing the same thing out there on the street. I've asked the boy to come to work, try to live a life. I'll help him get a house, car. He just refuses to. That's the life he wants. I've tried to kidnap him almost. It's you can't do it. I mean, you can't hold someone against their will.
Right.
But to the point. Well, if I would have found her, I would have probably done so and brought her home. But we'll get her help, rehab, whatever. It's not something that we have not tried to do 101,000 times already. But I'm not going to give up hope. With accusations of her being dead, and being deceased and no longer with us, it's one of those things. I'm sure y'all know. I mean, it's hard when people are like, oh, why so now? I think one of the detectives asked us, why are you worried about her now? I'm like, well, hey man, that hurts. Because you have no clue what our feelings are and what we've tried to do.
We've been in plenty of rehabs. Like she's even like one time just like how she took off from
walked in and walked out.
More than once. There was one time she was there for days and then she contacted somebody somehow and then they came and picked her up and she was in some other town where you wouldn't think anybody would come and get her.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy.
I don't know if this is more so for Liza. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
You can't force someone to get help.
Yeah.
Especially 40 years old, someone's not, and especially if you're like I think Liza, you said it was your younger sibling. I don't know if she's your older or younger Billy, but especially when they're the older one, it's like, if it's my younger sister, I'm like, oh, shut up. I'm older than you. I'm gonna do what I want. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And when they get off on drugs, a lot of people they'll listen to someone trying to talk sense into it. But when you're on drugs and you're that stuff, man, nowadays, it's got these people's heads so spun off. I mean, like I said, even my 21-year-old son, he doesn't care about anything but whatever it is that he's caring about. And I've tried to reach him 1,000 times. He's right here in my town. Trust me, I'm on his tracks every day. I try to help him. I'm never going to give up. I don't believe in giving up. So, we're going to stay strong, stay in faith on it.
Absolutely, man. You're doing everything you can.
And I see this, any trap houses near the area that she was last seen. Yes, there was a trap house, matter of fact. And, I don't know if it's okay that I mentioned, but I'm going to. His 20-year-old son, I thought he was like 21 himself. Thank you. That's kind. I'm a little bit older than that. But, I had my son when I was young, 15 years old. But anyways, so the Motel 6, the first place that confirmed seeing her, did tell me that there's a trap house over by Walmart in the Longview area, and even the detective that I spoke to today said, "Yeah, I know the exact one you're talking about. It's probably one she's frequenting over in the Walmart, behind the Walmart area over there. That some lady named Linda that's a pusher, and supposedly people are in and out of there. And that lady at Motel 6, the manager over there, told me that's probably one of the places she would be. So.
Okay, sorry to cut you off. If this is a troll, please don't do this. We'll boot you. But somebody says, I know where your sister is. Do you have information, Game Boy? If you do, please let us know. We're willing to talk to you. But if this is a troll, we don't accept that kind of stuff here. So please don't do that. But what information do you have? Put it in the chat. Yeah, Chris, go ahead.
What about her phone?
That's a great question.
The police
Yes, ma'am. So the phone thing. The detective started calling. I saw some girl at Walmart. The detective said that they had reached out to her phone. Detective Gaddy in Shreveport, Louisiana, called, got hung up on multiple times, and then finally received a text saying, "Hey," and I don't know the exact communication of them, what was said back and forth. But she had told them that she had bought the phone, or somebody had bought the phone from a white girl and a black gentleman, and that's all they knew. Or traded it for drugs or something of that sort. So neither one of him, like I said, he's incarcerated right now in Gregg County, and she has no phone. So
she's never really had a phone. Every time she's ever called my mom, because my mom's the only person that she's ever really called like out of the family, she's always called from different men's phones. So my mom has all these numbers stored in her phone by the description of how she's called, whose phone she might have been on, and that's the only way she would have any kind of communication with her. I was gonna say too, like I guess it was my mom or somebody talked to the cousin, and he said on October the 11th that Sean called him screaming and crying, saying that Lydia was murdered and that he was going to be the #1 prime suspect. So whenever we found out that he reported her missing in Shreveport on the 11th, that kind of freaked us out too, because we heard the story that his cousin was saying. And then on August the 25th, she left a message on my mom's voicemail about wanting, I guess she was in jail, and she was saying how she really wanted to get help this time, and how she needed to get away from Sean because he was dangerous and he carried a gun with him. So that was her last voicemail from my sister. She was released on the 28th, which was a few days later. Just wanted to mention that.
Okay. So yeah, I don't know about that Game Boy guy. He's saying he saw her at Walmart in Pittsburgh. He's saying he's not a troll. I don't know, but Game Boy, if it's just someone that looks like her, please be sure, because stuff like that can really throw people for a loop, man. And they're going through enough. So I don't know if you have any pictures or something, send them along. I don't really know what to say about that or how you guys want to, but
I mean, walk up to her and get her to pick up the phone. I mean, call us. She knows where phone numbers. I mean, it's. Pittsburgh, that's a long shot from where I'm hearing she's at, but who knows?
Yeah, we're going from Louisiana to Texas. Yeah. Pittsburgh's like way over there.
Yeah, but and like I said, if there's any truth to that, man, we appreciate it. Like, reach out, man. Be a good dude and like say, hey, call your family. They're on there right now trying to locate you.
Okay, so some people saying they know him and he's a troll. So I don't want to be accusatory, but if you are, Game Boy, not funny at all. So we'll leave that be. Chris, do you want to get some questions in? I know you have some.
Yeah. In regards to transportation, I'm assuming she didn't have a car, or did she?
Well, no. and so that's the thing. At one point, the cousin of Sean said that they were staying at his house that burnt down. He suspected of Sean of doing it. No clue there. They were in and out of motels. At one point, I know that we've even got the plate number. He was driving an old Ford pickup, I think, rusty, beat up truck he actually parked it across the street from the motel that he was staying at another motel.
Just don't give the plate number, something like that. I don't want it to come back to bite you. If something happens to him, he blames you.
Yeah. And this is coming from the bondsman. Okay. The bondsman said that, but they don't, from what we understand, they don't have a vehicle. And one of the reasons why we say that is because the cousin said that they rode a bus to and from Shreveport. The detective said that was they said they rode a bus back and forth to Shreveport. So as of right now, no, she's on foot from what I'm hearing. walking up and down the streets. Supposedly she's got short hair right now.
So she's on foot, and I'm assuming she didn't. This is a question in the chat too. No, like credit cards, ATM cards. I'm assuming a lot of times they don't. Okay.
No. I mean, she's living the trap house. You know, she's trying to get a meal, get high. You know, it's you're on the streets. You know, you don't have credit cards or
Okay.
Pittsburgh, Texas.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a Pittsburgh, Texas. Maybe he means
either.
Pittsburgh, Texas. I don't know. And Be United is the one I was mentioning earlier. They are definitely not a troll. They're awesome. So whatever they're saying, I agree. So they're not saying they saw it. They're just referring to a Game Boy set. But okay, if there's a Pittsburgh, Texas at a Walmart, maybe that is a possibility. And so I apologize to you, Game Boy, if that's what you meant and if that is real. We're just trying. You know, you never know in this, when you're in my seat, guys, I do this for the families. I try to watch for trolls, but I also don't want to accuse someone of being a troll if they're not. So it's kind of tough to know what to do, guys. But, okay, but keep that in mind. Maybe you could call up Pittsburgh and Walmart, send a flyer there, something like that. Maybe it is legitimate. Who knows? I never heard. I thought he meant Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I assumed.
Yeah, no, me too. I mean, so here, let me just say this. My biggest thing, Chris and Jason, my biggest thing is at this point, I feel like if she sees these flyers or someone does, I know she's got a warrant. And so when I talked to Detective Heath about it today, he was like, man, we're not. And I said, I feel like she's going to be like, oh, no, because she doesn't want to go to jail, of course, which to me, I'd rather be in jail eating 3 hots in a cot than sleeping on someone's floor doing whatever. Anyways, but I want her to, even he told me, man, it's not even about the warrant. He said, we're not even worried about that. We're worried about, finding your sister. So I just want to let that be known too. Anyone who's watching this or anybody who reaches out to her, tell her to call her brother, call her mother, call any of her family, we'll come get her. We'll do whatever. She doesn't have to deal with a warrant right now. I mean, that can be handled later. I just don't want her thinking, oh, well, the police are looking for me, the authorities, no, it's her family. We're someone made an accusation and we're trying to make sure that this is not right, that she is alive.
Yeah, and Lydia, even if you
go ahead, Chris. No disability checks or nothing.
If she wants to be off the grid, it's fine.
Right.
The only thing is that she should contact y'all. And
amen. Exactly.
She's okay.
Yes, exactly, Chris. That's where we're at.
And you said so. You've checked all of the above, such as homeless shelters, hospitals. What are the other typical? Any place like that where she may be?
Let me say, I haven't personally checked the homeless shelters. The detectives have been. I know when I was down there this weekend, like I said, it's hard for me just to get away. I was calling everybody. Most of the shelters were closed. I did start sending flyers via email to a lot of local ones. We're in the middle of still doing that as of now. That's why I was trying to hit the streets, putting the flyers out. We have checked, like I said, the detective said they checked her last 5 or 6, and my private investigator even checked the 5 or 6 last known addresses for her. I really feel like they were looking more of detectives and the private investigator. Oh, well, let's check her last addresses. No, she's on the streets, walking the streets. That's why I wanted to get this message out on here and on the streets, because she's homeless. She don't have a home. She's not at a home. She's at trap house to trap house, motel room to motel room, doing what she's got to do to survive. And and I'm not saying she's not, because she could be, but this, from what I've seen so far, all the money I spent, or not sound like that, but the money I spent on a private investigator, detectives, or whatever, I feel like we got farther in just a couple of hours of actually hitting the street on foot with flyers. As far as people knowing her, seeing her, people knowing this guy's story about. Before I told them anything about anything, knowing, oh, well, this, and that. I don't think she's trying to stay off the grid. I think she's just trying to survive, really, on Longview streets. Just like if she was in Dallas or New York or anywhere else, and she probably doesn't know her family's looking for her, honestly, just because she's lived this life for so long, she's just used to it.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people talking about they're in the area or they know someone in the area. How can they help? Anybody that wants to contact them, I have Billy, his profile linked into the description, so you can contact him there. I haven't put Liza yet because she kind of joined a little later. I'd already made the link, but I will put her, assuming she wants her profile to be there. But for anybody that is interested, what do you guys planning as far as any search groups, anything like that? Can you give any info, whether it's passing out flyers, coming together for a particular day, anything like that?
I plan on going back up there in the later days this week here. I'm probably not gonna leave till I leave with her or leave with answers. I just I got as far as I did the other day, and I feel like I did pretty good. I feel like she's gonna turn up, or answers are gonna, we just want answers. I don't have any big plans yet as far as anything. I know that Detective Gaddy out of Shreveport and Detective Heath have already talked about going on the news with it, just because they were that concerned about his accusations. If she doesn't turn up soon, I think the news is going to be our next step. I don't know if y'all have any ideas, man. I'm open to ideas. Shreveport's on like 3.5, or Longview. I mean, it's not that, I'll go up there and I'll set for a week if I have to. But no big ideas yet, except for going up there and trying to keep on beating the streets and trying to find her. If anyone's up there and they're watching me, I'm hard to miss. I'm driving a big white F-250 with big wheels on it, copper wheels. I'm the big ugly dude. I'm looking for my sister. I'm looking for my sister, and if you got her held captive, you might let her out the door, because I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna take her if I know she's there. We're not scared. We want our family. So.
Chris, do you want? I know you probably have a couple more questions too, but do you want to ask the question on the screen, and then you can get one of yours in too?
Yeah. So Elizabeth Gibbs asked, is there any homeless encampments in the area?
I don't know what that is.
Kind of like where they group together and sometimes they live outside.
I've been to Longview. It's a very small town. I don't think I ever saw that.
No, so I know that Detective Gaddy mentioned there are some in Shreveport, and tents and whatnot. So kind of like Lancaster and Fort Worth here. That's kind of where the homeless are. From what I understand, they've already hit these streets. When I was there this weekend, I couldn't get any detectives to call me back. I'm sure they were with their families. I understand that. And I went on a weekend. I still haven't got a call back from Detective Gaddy after. I'm gonna start calling her tomorrow. And if they haven't been there, nobody, my private investigator, nobody's been there, I'm gonna go there. I don't know of one in Longview. From the streets I was on up there, it was probably homeless enough. But no tents, no setups. If someone's got any ideas of one, please, I would love to hear one. So, not love to hear about one, just location perhaps.
Chris, sorry, I'm going to go over some pictures. I want to make sure you get all your questions, and do you have any additional questions?
Okay, one more question about her social media. Did she have social media accounts?
She does, but she never uses it, to my understanding.
She never posts?
No, I think the last time she did was on a different account, and that was last year, is what somebody told me they seen. Because actually it was my husband. He said that she had one for 2019. And she posted something then, but I didn't even know she had a Facebook account. I know of one, but not the one that he said he's seen.
Yeah, she was pretty much.
She's not active at all on social media.
She was pretty much off the grid. I mean, letting these guys control her. It was. I mean, not trying to get into all that really, but this guy Spillman, he was a real piece of work. I mean, it's. These guys, they take these girls in, they get them spun off real bad, or they already spun off. Not trying to, accuse anybody of nothing, but they have no life. They stay there and they get high and they do what they do, and it's. I mean, she has no social life. I mean, it's just that bad.
Okay.
Well, all my questions.
You good? Okay. So what I like to do towards the end is, you know, we're praying that she's out there, even maybe watching this, or somebody sees it that shows it to her. So I'd like, maybe we'll do one at a time. We'll start with Liza, then we'll do Billy. Or and there she goes. I'm going to say, have you guys give a direct speak to her directly. I guess we'll have Billy do first because Liza, I don't know if we can hear you, but your camera just went out.
Her laptop just died.
Okay. Well, then we can, if you want to start, Billy, we'll have you give a direct message to Lydia if she's listening.
Lydia, if you're out there, and I know you are in my heart, my head, and God's been speaking to me. I know you're out there. Your mama wants to hear from you. She misses you. She's really worried about you. These accusations have got her really scared. We love you. We all do. You know, all your kids love you. Even your exes, baby daddies have reached out to me. They love you. You know, they care about you. We want you home. We want you safe. You know, hey, and you know, if you want to be free, I respect that. At least pick up the phone and call somebody, let them know that you're okay. You know, if you need something, reach out to me. Let me know. I can be there quick. You know, take me a few hours to get there, and I'm right here. And I plan on coming back up there, and I'm not gonna leave without you. So if you're there, come on out, and you know, let's reunite you with your family. And just I'm praying to God. You know, I'll say a prayer for you every day. That you're safe and that you're not gone. You know, you're still here with us. But we love you very much, and I pray that you'll have better days ahead.
Absolutely, thank you, Billy. If you're out there, please. And if you, even if it's not. Even if it's not Lydia in particular, if you just know something, never assume that it's too small of information to tell Billy or Liza, and never assume, oh, they probably already know this. It's always that little piece that leads to something, and you never know who knows what. You'd be surprised when I talk to families. I spend 10 minutes looking at a case sometimes, and I'll mention it to the mother of a missing person. They're like, oh, I didn't even know that. So you would assume they know everything, but sometimes they don't, and they need that little piece to piece together what they know, you know.
Of course. And, you know, let me say real quick, I'm not trying to interrupt you, Jesse, but you know,
sure.
if we're wrong about these sightings and you happen to know anything about Sean or what happened to my sister or their cousin, or you can, I mean, anything, I reach out. I mean, you know, give someone some kind of relief here. Tell us what you know. If you know anything that's going to help us resolve any of this, just reach out and let us know. You know, I've always been that kind of person. If I can help somebody, I'm going to help them. And everybody that knows me knows this. So, you know, I just expect the world to be as kind to me as I am to them. You know, everybody be blessed. Liza, you want to say something?
Well, I don't want to say too much because I get real emotional, but I just really, if Lydia, if you hear this, please just let us know that you're okay. Especially for mom. Because, you know, this is really hard on her. I think we're more concerned. I mean, we're concerned about Lydia, but we are definitely concerned about mom because, you know, hearing all these stories, being a mother, that's just horrible. So I just hope that you can call us and let us know that you're, at least call mom and let her hear your voice. That would be the best thing for her.
Exactly.
Do it for her at least.
Absolutely. And a lot of people saying, asking how to contact them. If you go right under the video, you'll see it says description. It only gives the first few lines, but if you hit, it's either show more or show all. If you hit that, it'll give a whole link and you'll see all the relevant links there. Billy's information is there. I will put Liza's after, give it until maybe the morning to update because the video has to process. But Liza originally it was just going to be Billy, but Liza joined at the end. So I had already made the link, which is why Liza's not there. But I will put hers as well if you guys want to. Assuming, do you want me to put your link, Liza? Or do you want me to just leave Billy's? It's up to you guys. Okay. So, because a lot of people are asking how they can contact you. So, yeah, if you have a tips, information, an idea, a theory. I mean, don't. When I say theory, you know, some people get overloaded with like 25 psychics with all different ideas, and no offense to them, of course, we appreciate everyone trying to help, but you know, please only send something to them if it's really relevant and you really think you have a good idea or something. Course. We don't want to overload them. They're already dealing with a lot, but you know, anything like that, the links are in the description. Just hit show more. I believe it says show more. It's either show more or show all. You'll see the beginning. It has a little thing with the date and stuff, and go and do that. But and as far as who to contact for the authorities, let me. Okay, so this is from Be United, and so this case was actually brought to me, guys, by Karen Nichols Phillips. I want to give her a shout out because she is awesome. She's one of the advocates on this case. This is her group. The link is also in the description. I always mix up it's Missing East Texas 8 and Beyond, I believe, on Facebook. So check them out. Also check out Be United. All the links again are in the description. But let me read off the flyer here. I'll go to Be United because for some reason I can't zoom in on Karen's flyer. Okay, so here is where is it? Oh, there's no case. Do you guys have a case number? I mean, not that we really need it, but typically I read that.
Yes, it's on the flyer that we made up right there at the bottom of it.
Okay.
The MP number, that's the case number, missing persons number. The tip line over there to your left, Shreveport Department Detective Gaddy, that 318 number, that's Detective Gaddy. She's the one with actual missing person report on Lydia. You can call Longview, Detective Heath, call that number. I mean, reach out to me, whatever we got to do.
Okay. And Detective Gaddy, guys, is 318-673-7300. The tip line is 469-269-2916. You can send it to email. I'm guessing this goes to Billy, maybe. Help us find Lydia at gmail.com. Did you say that goes to you?
It goes to me.
So. Yeah,
Okay, to Liza.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, perfect. And if you are going to contact the authorities versus the family, you can. It's MP number, missing persons case number 20-14698. I also put my information as well as Chris's link in the description. I always recommend, though, guys, it really makes no sense to only contact me or Crystal. You want to definitely send the information to the family and or the authorities. But for whatever reason, if you do send something to me, I will pass it along. So feel free to do that. But my recommendation, of course, is to the family. You don't want, especially if it's something time sensitive, you don't want to send it to me and it takes me a day to see it and pass it to them and they miss it. So get it right to the family or the authorities, guys, please.
Thank you. Jason, we appreciate you very much.
No problem, and thank you so much for coming on. Liza and Billy, is there anything that you wanted to go over that I didn't think to ask, whether it be identifying marks? You mentioned a couple tattoos. You want to go over anything like that before we finish up, or is there anything I didn't think to go over?
I mean, I think we covered it all, Jason. Liza, if you think of anything, I think, it's we've talked about everything that, we could have.
Yep, I think so.
Okay.
All right, awesome. You guys were amazing. You're awesome representative for your sister, and I have a lot of hope for this one. She's been seen, we think, so I pray she comes home safe. I will blast this out everywhere I can, and we'll do everything we can. Please help bring her home, guys. Help bring Lydia home. She has a lot of kids, and they need her, as well as her family.
Y'all have a blessed evening,
Thank y'all.
everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, bye. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for joining us. We didn't mean to
Bye,
forget
guys.
the lovely
Bye.
Crystal. Bye, guys. Everyone have a great night.
All right, you too. Bye.
Thank you to the chat.